भैरवकालिके नमोस्तुते श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। जय श्री भामा कृपा, जय श्री श्यामा कृपा, जय श्री गुरु प्रवीण राधाकृष्ण, जय कृपा परंपरा. உமையும் சிவையும் ஹைமவதியும் நீயே உலகெங்கும் மாயங்கள் புரிந்திடும் மாயே. உமையும் சிவையும் ஹைமவதியும் நீயே உலகெங்கும் மாயங்கள் புரிந்திடும் மாயே. பல கோட்டி பெயர் கொண்ட புவனேஸ்வரியே, பல கோட்டி பெயர் கொண்ட புவனேஸ்வரியே, பக்தர்கள் போற்றும் மங்கள மதுர காளி, பக்தர்கள் போற்றும் மங்கள மதுர காளி சண்டீஸ்வரி சாதோதரி, ಚಂಡೀಶ್ವರಿ ಶಾದೋದರಿ ಚಂದನ ಕುಂಕುಮ ತಿಲಕವತಿ ನೀಲಕಂಠನ್ ಹರಿಯನು ಮಣಂಗುಂ ಕಾಳೀಶ್ವರಿ ಕಾಂತ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿಣಿ ಪರಿವೋಡ್ ವಂದೇ ಮಯಾದರಿ. ಚಂಡೀಶ್ವರಿ ಶಾದೋದರಿ ಚಂದನ ಕುಂಕುಮ ತಿಲಕವತಿ ನೀಲಕಂಠನ್ ಹರಿಯನು ಮಣಂಗುಂ ಕಾಳೀಶ್ವರಿ ಕಾಂತ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿಣಿ ಪರಿವೋಡ್ ವಂದೇ ಮಯಾದರಿ. பாவன சிறுவாச்சூர் வாழும் தேவி பரிவோடு வந்தமை ஆதரி. Welcome back. After a cutie gap, I'm back on an interesting topic. Right now, as I'm recording this video, my family is actually burning. Earlier, when I used to listen to Gurunatha's recordings and say, why should one feel like they are burning and they are in pain all the time while walking towards the path of Kali? Should we not be so happy to go to Amba? That used to be my thought. But the work that she asks us to do, the quick clearing of karmic, burdens that is there on us, and how back to back it is, everything is her. When so long in my life I've never felt like surrendering my pain to her. It used to be like the spiritual self is different, the personal self is different. But when Gurunatha explains about Rudira Priya, she's in your bloodline. Everything that the work that you do within your family, understanding the patterns and sensing everything is all Kali. So there is no individual distinction between spiritual side and material side for me. After coming to the path of Kali, I just realized that all the work that I had done earlier with respect to understanding patterns and bloodlines and everything got clear after I met Gurunatha and started doing Kali Upasana. There was a huge shift from the time Upasana came in. Until then, everything was like I have collected so much of information and so much of patterns were seen, but I didn't know how to break it and move towards it. Right now also, there is clarity. There is definitely a lot of improvement and progress. But I wouldn't say that my life has ended. It is still going on. So all of my family members and me are burning as well. With that, I would like to tell one small thing. After watching some of the videos, a person kind of somehow found out my number and she called me personally. And I didn't know how to handle. I would like to say that each of us are going through our own tough battles and journeys, and I might not be in any position to handle your call privately. Whatever knowledge that I know, I can definitely put it out as videos, but you may have to find a therapist or someone who will help you. And the very reason why I'm even bringing this emotions, how emotional intelligence is Kali, is also because a lot of women have responded to me after watching my videos. A lady had spoken to me saying she empathized a lot with me when I spoke about how there is a lot of lust, and how do we as women channelize that towards the deity and go towards the deity. So this has been the topic that I have been speaking. Specifically, the reason why I chose Lalita Sahasranamam is also because Lalitambika is coming for Kama Pralaya. And right now there is a lot of understanding about sexuality, understanding about womanhood, feminism, in the sense like there is a lot of understanding about womanhood where we see there are more than 80% of the marriages, 70 to 80% of the marriages that have gone sexless. A lot of families are breaking. I was also going through that at a specific point. Multiple times in our marriage, we've discussed these topics that it will never work out, but somehow we have stayed. And I think it's the blessing of the deity to make me stay in this relationship. With that, I would like to begin this topic of emotional understanding and emotional intelligence and how that is Kali. Now, in majority of South India, we know few types of Kalis, especially the one who is very famous, called the Madura Kali Amman. So, I was surprised Google did not say the proper story of Madura Kali Amman. Actually, Madura Kali Amman is the story of Kovalan and Kannagi. For people who don't know the story, I will quickly try to narrate the story. So there is a very beautiful couple called Kovalan and Kannagi, Kakara Rupa, Kakara Varna Sarvangi, so Kali. Kovalan is a merchant and he is a trader. Okay, so they are staying in the city of Punguhar, which is actually a port where a lot of foreign goods come, and he goes to the king to sell. That's how they make business. So while Kovalan and Kannagi are a couple, Kovalan goes to a place and he gets smitten by another person. I think Madhuri or Madhuri, sorry, I'm bad with names. And he falls in love with her and he's having his own life there. Though Kannagi is aware that all of this is there, she is a pativrata. She maintains her standards and she stands for her husband. So one day he goes into a state where that lady apparently had taken the wealth and swindled so much of money from Kovalan. And he, unrealizing, smitten by her beauty and love, had lost so much of his wealth. He goes to his own wife asking for some more ornaments from her so that he can go back to Madhuri or Madhuri. Madhavi, I guess. What is happening there? One of her anklet that is made with a specific type of bead, black beads, I guess, maybe Karangali, I'm not sure. So that makes that krik krik sound in the kada, the ones that olden day women used to wear. So she gives one of that anklet to the husband so that, or probably he steals one of her anklets and takes it to Madhu. One day, the same time, he has been giving jewelries and ornaments to the king as well, right? So the queen comes and complains that one of her anklet has gone missing and it was made of gold with ratnas inside. So the dangling sound of the anklet comes through manikyams and maragadams and costly stones, very high, like diamonds. You have semi-precious stones and precious stones, right? So it is made with that stone that will dangle inside. It's kept inside and the kada is made like that. So when you walk, the dangling of the gems inside will make the noise. Immediately they are all getting the thought that Kovalan had come and cheated them. They had only given one or something like that is happening. And what is finally happening is the king punishes Kovalan, giving a death sentence, saying he was the one who had stolen the jewelry of the queen without investigating. Now the angry Kannagi is coming. She says what Kovalan had is the same. She has the other anklet with her, right? So she throws it open and says, "This is made with this. It is not the Ratnam. It is not the one that your queen has. This is what Kovalan had taken from me. I am his wife. And as a king, you should have gone deeper into this. Without knowing, you gave a death sentence to my husband. And as a Pativrata, I am going to burn this city down." She burns entire city of Madurai. Taking the rage, she becomes Kali at that point. And that rage, she is walking in that rage, she's unable to contain her rage even after burning down an entire city. The rage is uncontainable. She walks to some, in that rage, she's just walking day and night. And finally, she comes and cools down, sits and cools down. And that place is called Madura Kali Amman. That the place where she is coming and sitting is called Siruvachur. And in that place, there is a Kali Kshetram called the Madura Kali Amman. There have been many stories where a woman gets in her rage, becomes Kali, and that is majority of what the South Indians recognize as Kali Kshetras. Beautiful stories about how emotions in a woman makes her to embody the deity within her. Her rage against the king who was unjust. She stood for Dharma, and when she stood for Dharma, she came. Kali came. So this is a beautiful story. I've also heard about Renuka Mata, but today we will not be taking her story because this topic that I want to discuss itself will be pretty huge, and maybe from now on we will talk more about emotional intelligence and how women can start deeply understanding their own problems and solution. Probably a little bit of emotional intelligence. Now, this I had addressed in my very earlier videos about your sacral chakra, your heart chakra, and your throat chakra. Again, we are talking about those three chakras, how a woman whose emotional center, not just for women, even for men, the emotional center is your Swadhisthana. That is where, when I keep going back and saying that Samudra Manthan, this is the concept. So, the Samudra Manthan, where the Manthan is happening, is none other than your sacral chakra. The sacral chakra, you are giving Kurmasana. So, Kurma, what is Kurmasana? Kurmasana is nothing but you are taking in and going inside. So, what is a tortoise is often represented, and even Thiruvalluvar has given about tortoise. You are taking in, shrinking in, taking in all your external stimulus and taking it deep inside. This is inside work, the shadow work, or however you want to call it. What is going to, how you are going to develop deeper intelligence about your emotions is by withdrawing from your outside world and going within you, deeper inside you. That is Kurmasana. How the tortoise shrinks everything and gets into its shell by getting into yourself. That is Kurmasana. And the churning of the ocean is happening, is your emotional churning. I told you that Swadhisthana is also the place where all your forefathers, your ancestors, that is the seat. So while you're churning your emotions, while you're understanding why am I having these problems and troubles, you can easily trace it to the ancestors. So I had already done all this activity, but I did not know how to connect and give it in my previous videos. After I found Gurunatha, it made immense sense. So what first comes while you churn all the poison, hala hala visham, and who is going to take it? Bhairava, the center for purification, Di Shuddhi, the center that completely cleanses all the poison, swallows and cleanses. This is the basic understanding about Samudra Manthan as well. There are deeper meanings, deeper beautiful ways in how the Samudra Manthan is related to our chakras as well. Right now, I feel this is enough. I don't want to get into too deep in every subject, then the video becomes extremely longer, and for me also to edit and post, it becomes very difficult. So, this is about Samudra Manthan. Now, a lot of discussions used to happen with my husband. So one day we were sitting and saying that, how much of my father is there in me, how much of my mother is there in me. And I was just asking, are we just, a replica of our parents? Is that all that is there in us? So what if I remove this part of me and say, okay, this is from my father, this is from my mother, then who am I? This is the spiritual question we all ask and seek. Who am I? Who am I? So when we peel the layers and find out that this part of me, this trouble, this pain is what my grandma suffered through. This pain is what is there in the generation. And I think from a very young age, my father has put this thought in me that his observation, beautifully, a lot of women go through physical ailments. And it was an interesting point because I also started noticing and observing that compared to man, a lot of women had physical ailments, complaints. They used to keep on talking about their physical problems, and I used to wonder why. I have been given a beautiful Vidya. It is called German New Medicine. I've also done a lot of other healing therapies and books as to how your psychosomatic disorders, any physical ailment is a manifestation of psychosomatic disorder. It could be like your mental trouble is directly related to the physical pain that your body is going through. It's so beautiful that I am also a part of few mothers group. In that, we have these questions about the children going through worming problems and all that. So my daughter did not have worms, but as a child, I remember how we used to have this pinworms, kind of irritating. And while I was going through understanding deeper and deeper and deeper into GNM, German New Medicine, you can also watch about this. GNM is German New Medicine. It's not actually new. I think it was there in 800s. It tells exactly when you give the symptom. It exactly tells you the very reason what your suffering is, what your conflict is, your inner conflict is, and when you are not able to cross through that process, that phase is when actually you will have a disease. The manifestation of your internal conflict, which is your emotional processing when it doesn't know where to go and where not to go, that emotional processing will create certain discomforts in your body that manifests as disease. Now, these little children, like 3 or 4 years old or 5 years old, who are having these pinworms getting affected, somewhere it means that they have been shamed. Shame is the reason why these pinworms come. One of Amba's nama in Kakara Sahasranama Vali is Kita Yonihi, Kitam, and there are few names about Kitam. Even in Lalita Sahasranamam, I have told earlier that Brahma Kita Janani Varnashrama Vidayini. She's the mother of Kitam, Pulu, worms. And I was like, okay, what does GNM have to say about this? Because now I'm in like research mode, right? I love researching about health and these topics. As a woman, naturally you will be pulled towards these topics because that was how earlier women used to do everything in the kitchen. Like so, this mothers group that I'm talking is about naturally healing yourself. Like we are a group of women who have not vaccinated our children probably, and we don't go for regular doctors whenever there is cold or cough or fever or uncontrollable little diseases that we see in the child. How we make natural remedies with ingredients in the kitchen so that we don't go end up consuming medical things that have a lot of side effects. Unknowingly, when you start consuming medicines, it has got a lot of side effects. So it is also an awareness of pharma lobbying and how we can take care, we can be more aware of what is happening within our body. So a lot of women are a part of this, and when some mothers ask about their children having keto, puru, worms in their pinworms affecting their children, I was researching about this and beautiful. So, like I said, shame is one of the biggest reason why the pinworms come and attack. But there is the beautiful thing. So there is something called as the conflict active phase, and the body tries to naturally heal it. So in the conflict active phase, that is when the child is going through shame, the walls of the anus gets depleted, it seems, because of shame. That because of that emotion, something is happening in our body, and the wall of our rectum or anus, whatever, is getting eroded. And there is a conflict repairing phase where your body is trying to rejuvenate itself, repair itself, and come back to actual action. That is done by these beautiful worms. That repair, though generally we say when worms are there, immediately start eating something and kill it, take it out of your body, take it out of the system. And I was like, Keetam, Amba is Keeta Yoni, she is the mother who creates worms. And when something like that is there, what is the meaning? What is the meaning? And I really wanted to understand. And the moment I read this, I was like, Amma, I now have a beautiful reverence towards worms. So beautiful, so beautiful. Understanding your body, understanding what is happening within us. there is a beautiful revelation that happens, and how she talks so beautifully, even when we are burning, burning with a smile. So, about understanding our emotions and how it affects our body. Oh, any person who is having physical symptoms, ailments in your body, please go and try. And obviously, because pharma lobbying and medical fraternity is there, they want to make you feel special. I've already spoken about this in my birthing videos. They will try to just act on your symptoms by giving some medicines to shut down the symptoms. They are not going to the root cause. When you go to the root cause, it is nothing but emotions which have not had a place to be seen, to be heard, to be felt, and to be pushed out of your body. How am I saying this? Now, you're having a heavy meal, okay? Your body's capacity is only so much. Probably your body's capacity is only one meal a day, but you are having like 5 meals a day. What would maximum the body do? For the next 1 or 2 days, you may not eat, you may not feel that much of hunger because you are consuming a lot. But even a drop of poison mixed in that food, you know how your body struggles? It wants to flush out through all the organs possible in the body, because the body is never designed to consume poison. In our ecosystem, there are some animals who actually can take poison. For example, the koala bear. What does a koala bear do? It eats eucalyptus leaves, and eucalyptus leaves have got a lot of poison in it. The other animal I found that eats poison is, very surprisingly, cows. When you actually, especially the pasumadu, the Indian breed cow, when you give them poison, it seems that they have a chamber. I think when we have studied school, we have studied about all this. They quickly eat everything, whatever is available, and they store it in a chamber that's there near their throat. And when they are very relaxed, they bring back that food from wherever they had stored in their throat or neck, wherever, and they chew it. Asa podradhu அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. Typically, if suppose in that speed the cow has ingested some poisonous plants, it doesn't cross the cow's throat and gets into its bloodstream, because the baby calf drinks from milk from the cow. We also take the milk from the cow. Even it doesn't come out in the dung. The researchers have been proved. So many research has been proved that when a cow consumes poison, it has the capability to restrict in its throat, and we don't know how the cow kind of ejects it, but naturally it doesn't come either in the dung or through its blood. None of the poison gets mixed in its blood or the milk or the dung or the urine. The pancha kavya that we say, we make through the cow's 5 things that we make, none of it has any trace of poison in it. That beautiful is cow. And suddenly, one day while I was discussing and I was talking with her, I noticed a bee-eating bird. And I was like surprised. Is there even a bird that eats bee? And there are certain types of eagles and bee eaters. They are called bee eaters. And there are few birds that eat bee. It was very interesting. I was not sleeping. I was in my conscious meditative state when I saw this. So these animals, they know how to take out the poison from the bee, the sting, and it knows to consume. So naturally, Amba has created certain animals and certain creatures to show that Bhairava is there to consume this poison when we churn ourselves, and we notice a lot of pain that is there in us. That pain can be surrendered to the Bhairava who is sitting in our throat chakra, Neelakantha. So it was a beautiful information for me. He knows how to consume it. And I also noticed that koala bears, they sleep a lot because they are ingesting. They feed on eucalyptus. That is their most favorite food. And they sleep for almost, I guess, 18 hours a day, if I'm not wrong. That shows tamas, right? So if you are sleeping excessively, just understand that you are processing through your emotions, and that's why your body needs extra rest. So earlier I used to be like I should never be sleeping, I should never take this rest, always I should be running over, because that is the borrowed ideology from my mother. How I have understood that women has to always be active, always be giving her 100%, always be doing everything in her capability to run the family, contain everything, and be that rajas energy of the Lalitamrika. It is equally important that when we are doing heavy work involving karmic patterns and clearing up, it is very, 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 very essential to rest, relax, and surrender your pains. And while surrendering, you will burn. And that burning, Kali Mata, when you go, you will naturally be in a state of tamas. So, before Gurunatha, I would have never appreciated tamas. Now, I understand what tamas is. So, yeah, understanding about emotions. I'm actually not too well. Yesterday was a very heavy day of karmic clearing, and my throat is completely off. A lot of pain is there, but I truly felt that this video has been long pending, and I had really good clarity after having a 2-hour discussion yesterday about my emotions. Now, while we are talking about emotions, it's very important that I did a course called Nonviolent Communication, and I have been posting Tamil videos about that. When I say Tamil videos, there is enough detailed explanation about English clips because I conducted this as a class for few people. So I do have created a PPT kind of videos which is full of English text. So people who don't understand Tamil can actually look at the text and understand what I have communicated in the video. I had this deep necessity to bring in communication as a video because suddenly I felt that a lot of things in my life started making more sense. And Actually, I started speaking all my the things. I actually started activating my Vishuddhi chakra. So a lot of emotional guilt, shame, and fear are stored in your sacral chakra. And how do you purify it? By surrendering it to Bhairava. And when I say Bhairava and Kali, now I'm going to give you a secret of how to bring in as a sadhaka. So long I have been working only on my personal self, completely taking healing and understanding women's body, understanding why we are doing what we are doing, and all that stuff. But I did not integrate my spiritual side and my physical side. But now I have slowly found out how to do it, and this video is going to be revealing that secret of how I understood it, and I'm doing it. So this video is about how I'm doing it. So before that, I'll give a small story. Strange enough, just before this Sankalpa, this Amavasa, no, even before that, a few weeks before this Amavasya, I had decided that I'm not progressing anymore. I definitely want to progress in Kali Sadhana. And how do I do this? There have been a part of me that has always, I've had this doubt in me whenever I used to sit for spirituality, or I used to call myself that I'm, I'm born for some purpose, and I've had so much visions, I'm this, I'm that. Whenever I used to claim that, I used to ask myself a personal question. Am I a failure in my personal life, and is that the reason why spirituality is pulling me? When we intellectualize it, it sounds very natural, very human to say that yeah, my human relationships are failing and I'm feeling it with the deity. That's perfectly fine. But I still have this question: am I getting too spiritual? Because one part of my life is unresolvable. We have gone to so many counselors, so many therapy sessions, and a part of our relationship had always been in a tangle, and every year it kind of goes up, blazes up, and the same pattern kind of repeats, and I was actually tired and bored. There was one point where I was in rage. Exactly. There are few instances where I had seen Kali Mata in my dream before Gurunatha. After Gurunatha, Kali Mata is like daily in dreams, actively communicating, right? So before that, I have seen very few times, and I very, very vividly remember what happened in that dream. So these two people to whom I had mentioned that my marriage was not working and I'm going to break it and I'm going to go out in search of someone else. Both of them had said, "You have a child. when you are trying to break this and go, be very careful. Out of their love for me, out of their care for me, they actually told me to stay in the marriage. But for me, at that point, it was very difficult because one person mentioned, and it was around, there were around like 200 people who were attending that class, and in other, there were around 40 women who had actually left their family, and they had suffered. So both of them, both of these women want to protect me and say whatever you're planning to do is going to be disastrous. So they are asking me to stay in this relationship. And I felt that at that point it was impossible, and I felt that I was reduced, and that rage in me, I saw myself as Kali. I didn't see my face, but I saw that I had a khadga in my hand. And there were a lot of laborers. I am seeing her grandfather, who's no more, this person's grandfather and grandmother, and there are so many laborers. This grandfather is using women just for having progeny, having sexual pleasure, and cooking food. That's the maximum that this grandfather is giving respect to that woman. And these laborers who are working for this grandfather is also learning from him and treating the women in the family the same way. I was surprised. I didn't understand that Kali speaks through bloodlines. But I was able to see their ancestral patterns that was speaking through this lady. Her believed, what do I say? Her believed system, her beliefs and thought patterns had come from this grandpa. That grandpa is talking through this lady, and she is bringing me down. Though one part of me is understanding that she, out of love for me, out of care for me, is coming and telling me to stay in this relationship because the world outside is very, in her opinion, right? It would not be possible for a woman to break her family, which is, other than few little things here and there, the family is still supportive. The family is still there. I have a good family, in her opinion, in her mind, in her head. And she was giving me this idea to stay in the family, to stay small, to stay insignificant, to that I don't matter. I don't need to be seen. I don't need to be felt. I don't need to be heard. My emotions doesn't matter, and reducing myself. And I saw that these laborers had all bald heads, and I was running swiftly on their bald heads. I want to chop off the head of that grandpa who was talking through this communicator. And the next scene was another teacher, another mentor. She's from Bengal actually. I was holding her, grabbing her by her hair, pulling her hair, and I'm like threatening to cut her head, saying, "How dare you ask me to remain small?" And she has also gone through a lot in her life. And I noticed that out of pure love for me, she wanted to save my family, but she had gone and spoken something else to my husband, and that really hurt me. So initially, she created a 40 women member group, and she said Anusha is deciding to, divorce her husband and go out of the marriage. She has a child. So there were 40 women who were divorcees, who had gone through very rough life, who were trying to tell me not to do anything like what I was planning to. So this was out of pure love. I could completely see that aspect. At the same time, she had gone to my husband and she had said, "Staying with Anusha is hopeless. Divorce her and get off. I see that you are a true, honest man, so don't be with her. Get away." I think that was the rage that was there in me, saying, "How dare you?" Suddenly, her connection with me was chopped off. But then, having understood her intention, I went back and I said, "What you did here, I noticed that you saw your mother in me." So she had a very painful childhood. And I have seen this in most of the people who had come as mentors in my life. They had terrible childhood. One of my mentors, she was my first guru, if I could call her. She's a Muslim, and she was the one who first initiated me into Nada Kriya Yoga. So she used to tell me as a 7-year-old, her mother used to make a paste of green chilies and apply it on her eyes. And I'm like, oh my God, why will a mother trouble her child so much? She didn't understand why her mother was acting that way to her. And this mentor of mine, who was my communications teacher, so she said that her mother was an artist, and she never liked anyone interrupting her art. So most of the time she'll be mad, like a kepa in her artwork, and she could not handle a family. So most of the time it will be her dad or her grandma who will take care of her, and she found that a part of her father in my husband, a part of her in my daughter, and that mother, whom she was so angry with in as me. Suddenly, though she was I loved her sessions. We had a beautiful bonding, and we had a lot of private conversations. And Kali Mata, like in my previous video about Krishna as Kali, I would have told a specific topic where how whoever is like stable relationships, she would bring in a person, and after their job is done, she would just cut and take away. In my life, it has been the mother. She had never let anybody like she have never let me call anybody as mother. She will immediately chop them off. And now I was grabbing her by her hair, and I was like, how dare you ask me to stay small? And Kali rises through rage. This is standing for Dharma, standing for who you are. And now, when I say that emotional intelligence is very, very important, why I am bringing that is because when you feel, a lot of women have now taken divorce as the route. And in my life also, I have seen in my family, few people have walked away. And it brings immense pain to see me, as I'm also going through similar troubles in life, unmet. Um, the emotional part that a woman holds is very, very deep. Is very deep. And my previous boyfriends have called me, I am too much. And I have felt that too. I have felt that my feelings are too deep. Because it is too deep, it's very difficult for me to let go and be at peace. Not just about abandonment issues, about fear of abandonment and inner child traumas, but generally, I am very, very deep, to the extent that yesterday when I was sharing the pains that I had with my husband and this family, I did not want to bring it up and speak because I was afraid, and I know that my pains are too much, and I didn't want the other person to feel bad that they did it to me. At the same time, if I don't communicate what pains I had gone through, I will be unseen forever. I will not be able to communicate that these are the pain points in me, and that is why I have shut down. I'm not able to be my 100%. I'm not able to be there as a daughter-in-law, as a daughter, as a wife, as a mother. I'm not able to fully function because parts of me have shut down. Because I did not feel safe to be my vulnerable self. Whenever my vulnerable self had come out, it has been criticized, not knowing how to handle it. Now, when we say this, it can go and sit as blame on the other person who is listening to you. So, in my communications class, we take responsibility for our emotions and stop the other person from blaming. Now, when I started doing sadhana, how did I integrate Kali and Bhairava? A woman first understands her own emotions by becoming the Bhairava. So, what do I mean when I say by becoming the Bhairava? Gurunatha has beautifully given when to start Bhairava sadhana, your 11th day from your menstrual cycle, or whenever you know that your progesterone is high, testosterone is high, sorry. Whenever you know that your testosterone is high, the 11th day of the cycle, you start doing Bhairav sadhana, and when you start observing you. That observing part in you, that pattern recognition, the observance that this has happened to me, and that is why this is relapsing, this awareness is Bhairava. So, there is something called beautifully as naming and noticing. So, when you're deeply hurt and you're sitting after sadhana for a few minutes, your emotions act. Your emotions start bubbling up. You either cry, you're either angry, or are in rage. So when you feel all these emotions, it is Kali dancing. And when you are in the observance mode, you are in your full awareness, allowing those emotions to run through you. That is when you are acting, you are giving her the adhara. You observe what is happening to you, you name and notice your feelings and emotions, whatever you are going through you at that point, and this is how you will feel seen by your own self. This will be the first step before taking it to the partner who has hurt you, who has torn you apart. Now, only when you do this, you will not blame the other person. You will first be aware about what is happening within you. And if the problem has physically manifested as a disease, it is now even more easier for you, because you can go to GNM and see. And there are multiple books. I think you can heal your life by Louise Hay. She had cured stage 3 cancer just by understanding that it was unresolved anger in her body. Typically, there are so many women who had written books about healing their life just by understanding their emotions. So this is why I say that emotional intelligence is Kali. And to embody deity like Kali, this will be a beautiful step. So, whenever there is rage, understand that Kali Mata is dancing, and you first, as Bhairava, give the adhara and observe what is happening to you. This is going to be the first step. I also feel that the video needs to end here, because if I'm going to give all the things that I had planned in this video itself, it'll be too long, and maybe you may lose the crux of what I want to share. So, as a first step, a woman needs to understand her own emotions. And when you understand your body, whenever Gurunatha says your body is the yantra, for a woman, understanding these emotions deeply that has manifested as diseases in your body is going to be the first step. And without clearing this, or without being in awareness, so whenever you name and notice what is happening in your life, the emotions, the feelings, the sufferings, the longings, that will give you a sense of clarity. That is when you will start observing the patterns. And when your observation and your awareness is high, Kali can start dancing, because that is Bhairava's adhara. And this is what I am bringing to you as emotional awareness. Now, why do I say that this is Kali? Notice that in Kali Sahasranama, there are two beautiful names of Mata Kali. There are multiple names that could mean this, but what pulled my attraction, what attracted me was, there are so many names of her in Swayambhu. Um, so one of the name is 895th name of Ma Kali in her 1008 Sahasranama, Kali Sahasranama, and that is Swayambhu Bhakta Bhavika. She decides what will be the bhava of her bhaktas, Bhakta Bhavika. She beautifully comes and sits inside a bhakta as the bhava, Swayambhu Bhakta Bhavika, which means she is the bhava through the bhakta that she wants the puja. To put it more simply, if a specific bhakta decides that the bhakti is through offering alcohol, she is the one who is deciding that pray me through this. So, when I see that emotions is one huge understanding feminine factor through which Kali Mata can be prayed, can be approached, I resonated a lot with this nama, Swayambhu Bhakta Bhavika. So my Bhakti Bhava is through all my emotions. So I see all my emotions, all of myself as Kali. I am dedicating all these emotions as her dancing inside of me, and me as an observer, giving her Bhairava Adhara to dance inside my body, all my emotions, everything is her. Swayambhu Bhakta Bhavika, 895th name. There is also one more name, 731, Bhakta Bhavita. So again, Swayambhu is the only thing that is missing. So I think in my head, she has come as Swayambhu Bhakta Bhavika, as emotional intelligence. And let us go deeper. The next step will be about, I'm guessing, how our ego self is built, um, and how Shiva as Hara, beautifully destroys and annihilates. Um, there have been beautiful observations that has been going on, beautiful messages that has come. I have actually noted them, but now I just feel that the video might go extremely long if I'm going to bring in all the topics that I have noted down to speak. And just before speaking here, I asked, I don't know if today is the day that I want to make this video, and then I generally have animal oracle cards. Generally, animal spirits, they are very active. They even communicate to me in my dreams. And I saw a white raven, which is 66. The card number was 66. And it said, trust in magic. So, generally, whenever I decide what I want to speak, it's not me who's speaking, it's she who decides what has to be there in the video. Two of my videos have been already archived, owing to a lot of secrets that were there in those videos. And I hope today's video makes sense for a little bit of you who are understanding. There are many beautiful people who are there on Instagram and on YouTube who are bringing beautiful content about the same thing what I'm discussing right now. But this has been how I have been trying to embody Kali Mata. And the dream beautifully said how through rage and the story which I began with Madura Kali Amman, who is none other than Kannagi, who went to the status of a goddess. To a lot of people, Sirvachur, Madura Kali Amman is a family deity, like Kuladevata. She is their Kuladevata. And how through rage a woman embodies the deity. So that rage, there has to be a reasonability, there has to be dharma, and whenever there is dharma, she will definitely come. So, women, a lot of your marriages are falling apart, a lot of your emotions are turning into physical pains, and so many of you have gone through very physical surgeries. Surrender all that to Kali. Whatever has happened in the past, surrender everything to Kali. And from now on, let us try to be more aware of our emotions, our body, how it speaks to us. It is continuously calling and talking to us. And just by observing, that's the first step. Even in my non-violent communication classes, observation was the first step. So I think we are calling Bhairava there, asking him to give Adhara for Kali to dance. So this video is only for women to be self-aware of their own emotions. This will also help men to go deeply and understand how to embody femininity within you. The more you start observing how your wife emotions are, the more you will start embodying femininity. Not just your wife, it could be your mother, your female colleagues, anybody around you, any feminine people around you. That's how sadhakas are, right? Seeing every woman as Devi. I would like to go one step ahead and see everything as Devi. Why just women? Even a Keetam has so much lessons to share in my life. And I'm so thankful. Kakara Sahasranamavali is like Pokisham. It's like my treasure. I love Kakara Sahasranamavali. Of course, I've stopped even listening to it. But even her creation of a worm has got so much meaning and so much to add value in our life. As a human being, you are blessed to be in her sadhana. So let us embrace that beauty and thank the Divine Mother for having appeared in our lives and taking care of us so beautifully. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.